And it looks like we are alive. Or is it live? Welcome and greetings, everybody. Great to be here on this Sunday afternoon with a panel of some of the best that YouTube has to offer. And of course, the awesome and amazing chat that always comes to support us and this great community we call the YouTube comic book community. And today we will be talking about certain parts, certain aspect of comic collecting, which is near and dear to my heart and to many of you as well, I'm sure. But before we get into that, let's bring in some of my friends that are going to help me to show you, just how awesome this type of publication was and maybe still is. First on the docket, a lady that I think we all know and we all love her perspective and insights on especially DC Comics and women in comics especially, but regardless, she is excellent at most every video I've ever seen of hers. None other than silver-haired, Bronze Age babe. How are you, Sarah?
I'm great. Thank you, Roger, so much for inviting me, because I do love to talk about Treasury issues. They are a special breed.
They certainly are, just like you.
Oh, you're very kind.
Thank you very much for coming in at the last minute there. I had some cancellations, so you were actually on my list, and for whatever reason, you didn't make it into the email. I don't know why. But
hey, listen, I have made my entire career was being second choice because someone dropped out. So I'm easy, but I ain't no tramp.
You are no second teamer, Sarah. That's for sure. You are first team all the way. But regardless, that's on me, not on you.
All right.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Great.
Next, what can I say about this gentleman that you don't already know if you've been in this community for any amount of time? He is my co-host on the No Faces chat. He is probably, and don't tell him this, but one of the main reasons I'm still on YouTube. No matter what you think of him, it's probably true. None other than Bubs Comics. How are you, buddy?
Good. Thank you, Roger. That's the best intro you've ever given me. I might come on your channel again sometime.
Well, I'm a glutton for punishment. We're going to say, how are you, buddy? How you doing today?
Doing very, very well. Super excited to talk about treasuries. Obviously you know, but other people following my channel know I'm a big fan of treasuries. And every year I get a little bit older and the treasuries get a little bit smaller, but I still enjoy them. And they're great. They're great to read and to collect, and I just love them. So I'm really excited about today.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. They do seem to be getting a little smaller as we get older, don't they?
I remember when they were just the biggest thing ever. Like, I wondered if I could put it on a wall. It was so big. Like, how would I hang this thing? And now it's like, hey, this thing, I'm still drawing in, but good stuff.
Okay, Bub, thanks for being here, buddy. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, next. This is a gentleman who's hasn't been in that community that long, but boy, has he made an impression. He's been on Comic Gories, and he just slaughtered, some of the top-notch collectors. He just, he just won the Graders Notes contest, stiff competition. I mean, it was like a heavyweight fight for us when we tried to decide the winner. It was like, how many points was that, hook, and he has a show every other Saturday. Again, on Tuesday, I was on his show. He goes deep diving into issues, which I love. Again, one of my favorite guys on here, none other than JHoodCreative. Oh, and he is an artiste as well. How you doing?
I try. Hey, thanks for having me on, Roger. I really look forward to this. Treasury editions. When we talk about comics, we're coming from a place of, what we were used to as a kid, what we loved. And to me, one of the things that stopped me in every issue of every comic I ever got in the Bronze Age was this page of ads.
Hold on, let me make you big, buddy. Hold on. Go ahead.
Where they advertised the big Treasury editions. And it wouldn't be till much later in life that I would come across some of these. But yeah, it was always just a great opportunity to be able to get a Detective Comics 27 or Action Comics #1. Before this day and age of everything being digital or reprints being available everywhere, these famous first editions and things like that were the only places we could see the original source material. So
Well
yeah.
said. Well said. Well said.
Really look forward to kind of talking about this comic book format. It's really cool.
It is, and it's one of those kind of like formats that you just don't hear that much about. That's why, actually, this is the gentleman that I think really is the brainchild behind this stream, and we know what kind of collection this gentleman has, even though he always downplays it, you know. But very knowledgeable. One of my best friends, very loyal, always there for me. We bounce ideas off each other all the time, and this is one that I believe he came up with, so I'll give him the credit for this one. None other than Lawrence, the King of Comicdom. How are you, buddy?
Man, you're being too generous, man. I can't believe you're telling all them lies, Roger.
I'm like Honest Abe. I do not lie. It's true.
I'm just glad we're talking about books now that like me and you appreciate, because we can actually read them and don't have to squint.
What's that you say?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Notice that you know, perhaps with
There we go.
above, we are very experienced collectors over here. I'm not going to say anything. That's a euphemism that I'll use here.
I believe the term is seasoned collector.
I like that even better. Yeah. I like that even better. Well, now that we all have been introduced, we all kind of got a little bit of a feel about what we're about. Let's talk about the other aspect of this community, which is this great chat that I see here to my right. So I'm going to go down and just talk a little bit about them, because these are the guys that, at least for me, these are the guys that make me want to make videos. They inspire me. They support me. They're the ones who actually suggest things. And so it's, without them, you know, we'd be like talking to ourselves here. That's like no fun, you know. So let's go through this chat and let's see who's here. Tailgating a long time ago, Scott424, my buddy from North Carolina, who's now starting doing live videos, and he's been buying up dollar bins left and right in Wake Forest. Yeah, very good. And then Jackson Roy Kirk, again, very knowledgeable member of this community. I hope to have him on someday. And then we have my moderator extraordinaire, Mark Knapp. I hoped he was here. When I put it on Instagram, I tagged him. Mike, Night Tire Comics, he's having some kind of remodeling going on in his home, or else I wanted him on the stream as well.
Yeah, he's completely kicked out of his comic room.
Yeah.
That's I know, right? It makes my heart skip a beat.
Yeah. Can you imagine? It's like us not having our comic room is just like, it's like, where's the food? You know, we're starving here, right? Okay, then we have Funk Comics, a great supporter of the No Faces chat, as you know, Bub, as well. Here's another gentleman who is like of our vintage a bit. Steve from I Love Disney and Comics, great supporter of us for a long time. Samuel David, with great supporter again of the No Faces chat. He's over here now. Thank you very much for coming. Mr. Gretzky 9966. Mr. Gretzky will be on the No Faces chat tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay. You do not want to miss this, because I believe this is the first time that he will be on YouTube, if I'm not mistaken, other than his own channel, you know. So I may be mistaken about that, but I think so. Speaking of supportive community members, we can't say that without talking about JB Discovery Bay Comics, who does an immensely incredible, over stupendous job of growing this community and the pop community and trying to bring us together. So this is a uniter as well as an expander. Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah. Not over the middle either, JB. You're looking good. You're working out, buddy. Rayman the Silencer Man, the flea market master himself. I think he went to this morning, so we probably will see a video soon. And let's see who else we got in here. I saw JHood's in here, of course, pumping up the chat. Your buddy, the Coach Vic, is in here. Mm-hmm. Who's on? He's on with you almost every stream that you do, right? Almost every stream that you do.
Just about, yep.
Unblockable. I won't pronounce that end, but thank you for being here. Great to see you here. Double A Comics, another great supporter, chat superstar that I've seen all the time. Kachoon, one of my favorite names on YouTube to say is Kachoon, but a very knowledgeable man in his own right. Alex Big Blue, I think he's a Kentuckian too, right, Bob?
He is, yes.
So he's a neighbor of Bub, so pray for him. Don Bridle has been here. Another great chat superstar and supporter of a long time. And another Kentuckian. They're coming out of the woodwork. Novamad, 1966. Kevin Taylor's in here. I think I met him first on Silver Age Dave's stream. And speaking of Silver Age Dave, I'm pretty sure I saw Silver Age Dave in here saying hello, everyone. He also couldn't make it. And Kevin R is in here, another gentleman that I believe I first met on Silver Age Dave's screen. Oh, and here's a man from my old stomping grounds, Hialeah comic bro, Raul from South Florida. Great to see you here, mi amigo. And let's see if there's anybody else. I think I'm just about out of words anyway. James Gallegos, my friend from New Mexico, great supporter of all of us.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, now we got that out of the way. I'm just going to talk a little bit about the Treasury Comics, kind of housekeeping stuff here. And then I'm going to go to Sarah, and she's going to dazzle us with her perspective on these. Okay, but first, what are these Treasury editions? A little quick synopsis, right? The first one that I know about, and I think this is pretty much standard knowledge, is we're going to start with the DC because they're the ones who actually originated it. Unless you go into comic albums, which is kind of a sort of an offshoot. But Rudolph, it was a Rudolph Treasury edition from 1972. Okay, even I wasn't collecting back then, right? But that was sort of a prototype, and DC wanted to see if this type of comic would sell. Notice the treasuries are much bigger, much bigger than regular comics, about 10 inches by 14 inches, okay? So it appealed to the younger audience because it was colorful, it was big, like a big coloring book, and it had certain features that will become evident later on why it was marketed to kids, all right? But then in 1973, because of that prototype was successful, DC said, we're going to start using this format as a sort of an auxiliary type of distribution, right? And at first, they did it because there was really no additional cost involved, right? We'll get into that in a minute. So the first one was C21, which is Shazam, which I just happen to be the proud owner of right here.
Nice.
Okay? And this was because DC had, thank you. DC had just recently acquired the rights to the Fawcett characters. JHood's got his down there as well. I'm going to go more in depth about this later, but this is just kind of a little synopsis about what Treasury or tabloid size, magazine size is another word you could use for it. So again, now we're going to go down the line here, and everybody's going to give you a little bit of their experiences, their likes, and their takes on the Treasury size comics. Ladies first, we're going to start with silver-haired Bronze Age babe. Take it away, babe.
Sarah or Shabab, however you want. So, so mine. This is the Batman Treasury C25. It came out in 1974. Yeah, and it cost $1. And in 1974, I was 13, and $1 was a big deal. But this, I bought it off the rack or the pile. I think a pile because they couldn't put it in the racks at Mills Pharmacy. And you can tell that I've kept this because look at how nicely it folds.
Oh,
That hurts.
Ouch. Oh. But wait, there's more pain. There is no back cover.
Oh.
There is tape. Wait, boys. It's torn. There's rips on the paper there.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. It gets worse. It gets worse. They gave you centerfolds. So what is Raquel Welch or Burt Reynolds for a centerfold? No, not for us.
Yeah.
We got Batman.
Yeah.
And we got, or if you were into the villains, you got that. And they always used to say, suitable for framing. Well,
Still suitable.
mine is
suitable,
not
yeah.
suitable for framing, but they had little games in them. They had how to draw Batman. And there was something on the back here that it was like you could make a diorama. And perhaps I maybe made an effort to do that, which is why the back has disappeared. But it's got the infamous and famous Neil Adams Batman image that I think came from 251. So anyway, this has been with me since I was 13 years old. It will never leave my possession. And recently, I was like, you know what? You're a big girl now. You can spend more than $1 on these things because you have more than $1. So now you get to spend a lot more than $1 for them. So I had to I upgraded. So I do have one that's nice now and actually has the centerfold attached and the back on it. And it is a prized part of my collection because I am telling you, as someone who not only remembers the ads when these things came out, but what it was like to see them in the stores, it was gobsmacking. It was absolutely gobsmacking. And, so Mom, can I have a buck? Because I need this.
The operative word there is gobsmacking. Remember that, everybody, because that'll be in the test later.
I wrote that down.
Thank you, Sarah, for that. Man, what memories, right? These elicit in us, right? From
I'll tell you.
By
before we
1995,
perhaps want to admit that we remember.
it really was a collector's item.
See, sold out.
Yeah.
Yes. There you
There
go.
you go, sold out. Yeah, that was a popular one. I remember that. Yeah, I remember that as well. All right, so thank you very much. Next, we're going to go to Bub and see what he will regale us with and his memories of Treasury.
So, then are we sticking with Batman or?
It's up to you, Bub. Whatever you want to do, Bubby. Anything.
Well, I will also show the same one.
Oh, beautiful.
And of course, well, hold on. Let me do this real quick. There you go. Make it all about the books on this one. So, but if you notice in the bottom, it has a Bonnet's bookstore stamp.
Oh,
Which, if you're a big Golden Age collector, then you'll know that holds some significance of what was that, provenance, I suppose.
yeah.
So love that. But the book that I really want to show is also a DC book, but it's not a Batman book. But it was my first Treasury that I ever purchased, and it was love at first sight. And so here it is.
Beautiful.
Oh,
Beautiful.
Look at that.
oh man.
Whoa. I
Wow.
love it. That is one big book.
Wow. Can we see the back cover, Bub?
Yeah, and it has the Rogues Gallery in the front.
Mm-hmm.
So it has all of the Dick Tracy Rogues, and then it has his partners in the back. Chief Patton, Liz Jr., Diet Smith, B.O. Plenty. Look at that B.O. Plenty. It's a good thing we're not on television here. Gravel Gertie and Sam Catcham. Isn't that great? Dick Tracy and his friends. And the interior is full of reprints, Chester Gould reprints. It's absolutely fantastic. This is my first one and my favorite one in my collection, hands down, by a wide margin.
Very cool. Neat. That is neat, Bub. I have to admit, that is a neat one. Well, I know of another Dick Tracy fan in this little quintet here, but I don't know what he's going to come up with. But Lawrence, what do you got, buddy?
Well, I'm just going to go with the first one that I ever bought off a newsstand, which is this.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
But the very same day, and this one will be an actual copy that I got off the newsstand. And Bub, you'll appreciate this.
Hey.
So you bought that one when it first came out, Lawrence?
This is the one that was actually purchased off the news,
Wow.
out of the store.
Right.
And it's rode hard, and it's destroyed, so I had to replace it. So I ended up with this.
Oh man.
Oh, look at you go.
Oh
So,
man.
do you know how well you like this? I think I like it a little bit more.
Yeah,
I
Lawrence is
believe
a huge Dick Tracy fan. He's collecting even like the older issues. So.
But honestly, this is what got me interested in being a Dick Tracy fan.
Really?
Because,
I didn't know
yeah,
that.
because see, we didn't have Sunday strips that was of Dick Tracy that was colored. This was the first ones I ever seen with the 4-color. Everything else was a black and white, and who cared? So that got me interested. But it, like you said earlier, it's all the big when you see it when you're a kid. It's like a big coloring book. It's cool. That's what got me interested in it.
Yeah, man. Cool. Very cool. Thanks, Lawrence. Very cool. All right, J Hood, what you got, buddy?
All right, so I guess I'll start with the first ones that I saw in person as well. I mean, until then, they were kind of a thing of fantasy. You only saw them in the comic books, and then I saw this for real life on a newsstand.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Whitman Marvel version. So I don't even think I realized that they had put Star Wars comics out prior to this. I mean, this is obviously a larger format reprint. I'd stare at that image for.
Oh, man.
And,
I bet it's fantastic.
That's fabulous, man.
and then, so this only held the first 3 issues of the printed storyline. So they came out with a second one, and this one I loved.
Oh my God.
Oh, man.
We've still got the tape
Nice.
hanging on for dear life.
Wow.
Obviously not working.
Oh, man.
I don't feel so bad now.
Yeah, back cover. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's in pieces.
Wow.
Oh, J Hood. Yeah, man. That is called love, J Hood, right there.
Frame quality right there.
Indeed. I mean, you got to think about it. Having these things as a kid, and I've held on to this for what 40 years now, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're not going to be in mint condition. So when you do find them, I mean, they're really cherry pieces. And then eventually they came around to do the whole issue. So before, where it was $1 for each edition, before this one, to get the whole thing, you had to pay that extra 50 cents at a $2.50 cover price.
Yeah. That's the 114 pager there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's well loved too. It's still intact, but it's got a few rips here and there. And there's the back cover of that one.
Cool. Yeah, that's not a wraparound, but it's a back and forth cover, right?
Right.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. So
Very cool.
yeah, for these things to have survived, I mean, I can remember having them, just in a stack in a playroom somewhere along the way, that kind of thing. And yeah, I really, like I said, I gained my appreciation for them from the ad. So as I saw them as an older collector, I started gathering more. So we'll show some of those as we go. I'll go ahead and show these real quick. These aren't comic books, but they're comic book tangent in that they use the same format for these big magazines about the Superman movies, where you had all the publicity photos and stills and background information on the making of the films. So
yeah, they're fantastic. Both of
Yeah,
them.
that's fabulous.
Great.
at this point, this was, and the photo reproduction in these is actually pretty nice. It really is magazine quality but matte finished paper.
That's the very last one, right? Like 1981 or so.
That's the first one, and then there's a second. There's
This is
Superman
C62, and
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There you go.
I was a bigger fan of Superman 2, so yeah, protection on that one as well. But yeah,
I see a pattern here, J Hood. The bigger the fan, the bigger the damage.
yep. Let me see if I can find this one particular image that I tended to dwell on for a while. If I can't find it, maybe I'll flip for it and find it later. But for whatever reason, I was a pretty big fan of Ursa, and I think it came down to the one. Yeah, there we go. There you go.
Yeah.
Bob.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah. Wow, good stuff, man. Good stuff. Wow, guys, first round. I think we should show it like 2 or more, or else we're going to be here a long time.
Yep.
So I'm going to go next here and give you a little bit about my experience with these. I don't recall buying one of these off the stand until 1976 or so, but the DC one that I really just thought was beyond amazing is the one I was holding up, when I made my intro. And now this is it. Most of the earlier ones were all reprints, but at some point they switched to new material, and that was this. So I was buying Superboy: The Legion of Superheroes comic religiously. I mean, I never missed it. And then I was like, I saw this kind of on where the magazines are, and I was like, what is that? That is spectacular. Mike Grell wraparound cover, right? And a new story, and it has, by the way, this is my loved comic. It's held on by these clips, right? Because it's coming apart. It's yellowed. It's ripped.
Nice.
Okay. It's been loved. It's been read probably 50 times, maybe 100 times, And that's what I wanted to kind of tell everybody in the chat here, that these are essentially little love little love messages, that when you got one of these, you didn't think about a collectability. You thought about devouring it.
yeah.
Just looking through it, just the awe, your eyes would get big. So these really brought a lot of joy and happiness to kids back then, and they to me they were much more special than comics, because this was like Shebab said, this was like a $2 comic or $2.
$2.
Yeah, $2. Let me tell you, that was like a whole week's allowance, So you didn't get these on special occasions, So I would say, hey mom, if I mow the lawn, would you buy me this, and sometimes it would work and sometimes it wouldn't, but like you guys, I love this so much that I did upgrade it to a fairly good copy here. So I read that other one. This one I kind of keep as just sort of a symbol of my childhood and how, the impact that it had, the je ne sais quoi of the time period for me. And discovering these. Now Marvels, I'll have another story, right? But for DC, that was the big one. And like I said, the very first one, and I'm going to just talk a little bit about this one, because you can tell this was marketed to kids. This is not really an adult publication. It was much bigger to catch the eye. In the back, you had dioramas for you to cut out, which would destroy the Treasury. But again, for kids, that was a plus. You have puzzles and games. Let me show you. These are all Fawcett reprints, but you would have, puzzle pages like this, for you to be writing in. You would have how to draw characters. Look at this. Look at this thing.
That's great.
You would frame this, put it on your wall as a kid, It was meant to have fun with it. It wasn't meant to be collectible per se. How to draw Captain Marvel and Captain Marvel Jr., and you would color it in, so to see if that in fact worked. Here's a little coloring, a coloring guide for Mary Marvel and that butterfly. So again, it was just a whole nother sense of wonder when it came to these treasuries than just regular comics, because there was more to them, more to do with them. And because they were bigger, they was more attractive to the kids' eye, shall we say?
They were larger than life, superhero-sized comic books.
Yeah, and activity books. It wasn't just a comic. You had activities, which is so much better than just reading.
And this was 80 pages, guys. 80 pages of goodness in here. Okay, so you would be reading the comics. You'd be sucking on a popsicle, and then you'd see the match game. You do the match game, you get your pencil. This was just fun for $1 or $2. More fun than you could buy at an amusement park.
Well, a parent's best friend, right? It's like, oh my God, it only costs $1 here. Have an afternoon.
All right, Sarah, you're up again.
Okay, so JHood was talking about the ads. And when I was a kid, I didn't get this off the when it came out, so I'm going to show you stuff that I have since obtained. But I remember the ad for this. It just was omnipresent in all of the books that I had. And, Superman and a kid, I still don't care. But it just was so... The ad itself was so important and lodged in my brain, I had to get it. The other ad that stuck with me until I finally got my own was this.
Neil Adams.
Yeah, I like that one. That one goes for some money now.
Yeah, and I need to get, Bub, I need to get one of those top loaders to hold this.
Yeah.
I knew this because it's the Neil Adams wraparound cover on
That's
there.
fantastic.
And somebody in the chat was asking if most of these are reprints. I think most are, but there are several original stories that I'm sure we'll talk about. But this is a reprint of the Ra's al Ghul stories, or several of them. And it's a beautiful book. It is just absolutely beautiful.
It is.
And two quick ones talking about reprints. If you're on the hunt for Treasury editions that actually have fantastic stories in them, check out this Best of DC. And it says Volume 1, and sadly, there was never a Volume 2. But they've
only the digest, but not as a Treasury.
It's got great stories in it. Batman, Superman, Flash, Dirty Jobs, which is just the one from House of Mystery. It's just a great collection, and I love the Neil Adams cover on it. And the same there's a great collection of Batman reprints. The Strangest Cases, and that, again, another Neil Adams kind of wraparoundy cover. And this has stories from Bronze Age people like Denny O'Neil and Len Wein and Bernie Wrightson. So it's what was, to me, those are contemporaries. I guess for some it's really old. But these are great to find, and it's a fun way to revisit some of these stories, because a lot of the art, the Neil Adams art in particular, I think benefits from being huge.
Indeed, for sure.
From seeing it large. It's almost like seeing a movie happen in front of you, and in your hands. So I would, check out those four for really good reprints and lovely covers.
Yeah, great stuff, babe. And I agree. This is like everything is amplified. So if you're a great artist, you look even better. If you're not so artist, you look really bad.
Right.
All right, Bub, what you got for us, buddy?
All right. Well, a couple things I wanted to talk about real quick. Also, I have to constantly respond to everyone else's treasuries that they're showing, because I don't have enough to just be showing ones no one else is showing. So here's my Star Wars #2. My brother-in-law had some comics that he had collected when he was younger, and he was wanting me to sell them for him, or offered to sell them for him. And then, of course, I got to pick out the ones I wanted that I still purchased them from him, but this was one of them. So I'm glad to have that.
Cool. And
also, someone asked in the chat about the top loaders. So they do make Treasury size top loaders, but they're very expensive and they're hard to get. So I get Life magazine size top loaders. And it's a little bit of space on the side, as you can see there. So it's flush on this side, a little space there, and a little space on the top. That's where it ends. But it holds them pretty well. They're very sturdy and strong. And for me, they make them stackable, and I actually store them like this on their end in a row. So it makes them very easy to store, because otherwise they'll end up looking like She-Babs and JHood's books.
Don't let
Here's
that
my-
happen to you.
I know they're on their way. Some of them I bought already look that way. There's Superman. There's my copy of Superman, the first one, and I don't know if JHood showed the back of that. So there's
Oh yeah,
a
nice.
great Chris Reeves pinup on the back. So super awesome there. And then here is my number 2, which is in slightly better condition than his, but only ever so slightly. So, but then I will show a book I don't think anyone's shown yet. So we'll show this one. The collector's edition Superman, that classic pose. Just beautiful. I love this one. It also has a pinup in it. It was one of the diorama backs. It had the diorama in the back, so absolutely love it. Now this has, you'll think it looks worse than it really is, but it has a finish that's kind of like an egg wash finish to the art to make it kind of look more vintage. But then on top of that, several coffee stains. I've tried to improve upon the original art, so there's my and what's funny about these, the DC limited collector's edition, is that's how it's actually. So if you're looking for these in somewhere, it's not listed as Superman, it's DC limited collector's edition. They don't have a number. Another little key point that I'll throw out there is buying treasuries. I know a lot of the treasuries that have been shown so far this afternoon have been purchased original off the rack or at that time, and then as Shebab said, some post. But for me, I have a really hard time buying treasuries online. Very rarely will they go page by page, and as has been illustrated prior, there a lot of the pages have activities, coloring, other puzzles and things that can be filled out. So if you don't have an opportunity to look through these books page by page, if you care that it has a non-completed page, that you don't want any writing in it, you really have to have it in person to look page by page to make sure that they're complete and that they've not been written in or that nothing's been cut out of them. That happens a lot in the lower grade treasuries that are out there for sale. I don't know if shop owners really care about it, but I've seen some for sale in shops that were like that too. But online, Roger already can't stand eBay, as far as it being the Wild West, always a rattlesnake waiting to bite him in his boot. Yeah. But in general, just be very careful ordering these online, especially in places like eBay. Also, they're very difficult to ship. So if you see someone is going to ship this to you for like $5 to $10, don't buy it, because they're gonna give it the Shebab treatment. And they're gonna bend it right in half, fit it in a paper envelope, and send it to you. Those are a couple of little tips for buying treasuries. Buy them in person if you can.
Man,
I'll send them to you.
Now we have the Shebab treatment. So when you write your eBay seller, right, you make sure you put their reference, no Shebab treatment.
You do the no Shebab treatment. Drop the link. Put the link to this video.
Oh, good stuff, bro. Good stuff. Speaking of good stuff, this is a gentleman who has a lot of good stuff. What's up, Lawrence? Can you hear me?
No, I can't.
You hear me? You couldn't respond.
Blink twice.
Bub stores his in them top loaders. Well, I actually found a comic type box that I store all mine in.
Wow!
And it's a record box. They fit perfectly in it. They stand up just like comic books, and they got lids, and you can put them in the stacks that I got that mask this entire room. But that's neither here nor there. What I want to talk about is the famous first editions.
Yeah, that's great.
Because these was exact reprints with a cover on the inside, just like they published them. And a lot of unscrupulous dealers ripped the covers off and tried to sell them. But, so, you get your famous first edition with Detective Comics 27. And what a lot of people don't see is you have a hardcover
Yeah.
Treasury edition.
Nice.
You never see these things.
Yeah.
And it's just bound like a hardback. I mean,
Oh, that's nice.
It's-
buddy.
Wow.
That is nice.
it's cool.
That's pretty.
And this is, like I said, I've only seen 3 of these in my life. So I don't know if they were specially made for libraries or what.
Did you buy all 3?
Nope, I only got the one because they're too expensive. But I mean, you got all the good stuff that happened with the famous first editions.
Oh man, just keep flashing those things up, man. Jeez, oh man, you're
And
killing.
this was my introduction, one of my introductions to the Golden Age, and it was it's awesome. Anything else? I mean, I don't have very many of these. but
Yeah,
there is
yeah, I
something
see that.
else.
I see that. No, you're just
Some-
you barely
something else
bring
I'd like-
anything. You
I'd like to show because hey,
here, Laura.
wait 1 minute. Nobody showed this yet, and I want to be the
hold on.
first.
Hold on, go ahead.
All right.
There it is.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
And I got one better than that because this is a great Neil Adams cover and everything, and DC did this, and then they did the Whitman
The
version.
Whitman. Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. I think the Whitman is the one that went to like bookstores and drugstores, things like that. And the other
Exactly.
one were like in newsstands. Yeah.
But
Wow.
still, I mean,
That is-
I don't see too many people have both of them.
No, those
Oh,
Whitman,
yeah.
those Whitman ones are hard to find on that one for sure.
Okay, you can move on now.
Great. Yeah.
I
Oh,
just
thanks
wondered-
for your permission. Thanks for your permission. I appreciate
So
it.
good to us. You're so good to us, Lawrence.
It's always good
Roger,
to
can I
know.
hop in on the Superman Muhammad Ali thing? Can I go out of turn here? Because yes, I have that.
Ha
And actually, I bought this 2 weeks before Muhammad Ali died.
Ooh.
And I was literally putting this book in a frame when I heard that he had passed away. And I was like, are you kidding me? So it was interesting to watch the prices on eBay the next day. But what I want to share with you very quickly is my Wi-Fi hotspot used to work for eBay in the collectibles group. And so that meant she actually went to Comic-Cons. And she was at the Comic-Con in Chicago, I think. And she had a nice chat with Neil Adams and was telling him
Oh.
what a fan I am. And so Neil Adams, always selling,
Yeah.
said, well, do you think she'd like that signed? And so that's why it says to Sarah from Neil Adams. So that's cool. So I haven't had it framed yet, but it's fun to have. But the best part is that he said to her, well, is she a sports fan? And so Laura was like, yeah, I guess I'm going to keep buying from you because you keep selling. So she got this lovely copy of the Century Sports, basically Muhammad Ali fighting Michael Jordan.
Oh man.
This is also signed by Neil down there. Now, what I love about it, so it has every sports star, and it comes with the same thing that the book did, which is a key.
Nice.
Who's
Right, the little key. Yeah.
So my favorite, let me see if I can point it out. That's Secretariat.
Yeah.
Hey, that was a heck of an athlete.
I tell you, and there's Man of War and someone else.
Wow.
So there
I
you
feel
go.
sorry for the people sitting in front of him
Or behind them.
or behind them. Really, anywer near them.
Anywhere
It's kinda
near
like
them.
being next to Lawrence in the chat.
Wow, Sarah, that is
So,
amazing
It's
stuff.
special, isn't it? So I told people that this treasury, it's really the Sergeant Pepper of comic books,
Wow. Wow.
So skip my turn next. So thank you.
I'm sure you'll be getting some requests for that last one, shall we say?
Oh, yeah.
All right, J Hood, you're up, buddy.
All right. So just so I'm able to show off, I'm going to go through a bunch that have. I want to show them that they don't have like a lot of deep meaning or sentimental value with me, but I just want to show them just to get them on record, and then talk more about one aspect that hasn't been discussed as much until just a minute ago. So I've got the first one, the Shazam. I've actually got 3 Shazam ones, and these are pretty much at this point the only Shazam comics I have in my collection.
Congratulations.
Like you said, they're superhero format, so how better to take in to absorb C.C. Beck's artwork than in this large format. I've got the second Secret Origins of Supervillains.
Cool.
Got that Flying Superman cover.
Nice.
And then, like Roger, I'm a big collector of Legion of Superheroes, so this has got a cool wraparound cover.
Yeah, you know, as a Grell fan, you got to have the Legion one there, you know.
And speaking of Mike Grell, so I got that one autographed down.
You got that graph, yeah. I figured.
Am I remembering right that this has the wedding of Saturn Girl and Lightning?
You got it, 100%.
I mean, one of the big events in comics, and it was contained in the Treasury edition.
Yep.
I mean, I didn't read Legion of Superheroes regularly at the time, but how gypped would you have been to have collected that series, and then 1 minute they're married, or 1 minute they're not married, the next minute they are.
Yep.
And having missed that.
So they did announce it. They did announce it that it would be in the Treasury on the comics. Yeah.
So here's my beat up copy of and this, this was
right towards me, J Hood, no problem.
What's wrong, Roger? Having a hard day?
Oh man.
So this damage was not sustained by me as a young kid. This was bought probably in the last 10 years, but it's the only copy that was affordable that I've come across in my adventures.
Yeah, that's tough to find in any condition nowadays.
But one of the big aspects of that we haven't talked about yet of the Treasury editions was these big, big events of, here we got Superman versus Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
But we also had things like
I want to change my order. I want to go before J Hood and end around now.
Oh man.
So
no matter where we go, we're going to be like drooling over here, right?
Yeah. So I think this one had art by presented by Carmine Inventino and Stan Lee as publishers, and then written by Jerry Conway, art by Ross Andrew, and ink by Dick Giordano. And I think Neil Adams helped out with this cover a little bit.
It looks like it to me. There's also a signed edition that you could order from the comics that came signed by Lee and Infantino, which is probably worth thousands of dollars.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Then you had
that Garcia Lopez. Is that Garcia Lopez?
Yep, that's that autograph at the top.
Man, one of my favorites. Man.
And if anything, the back cover on this one might be better than the front cover.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome, man.
And then they had the Superman Spidey rematch, which
you got all the crossovers, man.
Not quite all. I think there was also one that involved Wonder Woman, but I can't remember who she crossed over with. But
but that wasn't a crossover. I think that was the one with Superman.
Yeah, you're right. So this one was drawn by John Buscema and inked by Joe Sanat. So where else would you have seen Buscema and Sanat work on Superman?
Yeah. That looks kind of like, is that like kind of painted or something, charcoal or something?
It is painted, and I don't see an autograph, and I don't know if it is credited. I don't see a credit for the cover on the indicia. So, yeah, it's kind of a mystery of who would have painted that.
Wow, that's neat. That's neat.
Yep, so that's what I've got for this round.
All right, man. And you guys have got some super good stuff, man. All right, I'm gonna finish out my DCs at least on this round. I'm gonna show you a lot that you've seen already. Bob showed this one. The reason I really like it is, like Shebab said, the stories here are just classic kind of retellings. They're reprints, and you have the old style Golden Age logo, and you look at the little curly Q in the front. The shorts are kind of a little baggier, not like not G-string kind of stuff. Just
I think that cover was actually a painting, an oil painting that hung in the offices of DC. So,
Correct.
yeah.
Exactly correct. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly correct. Yeah. And then I have I do have the first edition, although this is not, this is not part of the first round. This is part of like much later, but it is an exact reprint of Superman #1. Then I have, like Shebab says, I love the stories in here. They're just, everyone is just a home run in here. Neil Adams, you can't go wrong with that. And like JHood, I got the second supervillains one. Again, classic stuff. You know, the way you learn about supervillains, pretty much, unless you have the originals, is through these. You know, because these reprinted a lot of the Golden Age and early Silver Age. And then I have one that nobody has, a couple that nobody's shown yet. This is actually not part of the limited collector's edition. This is a DC special, Fortress of Solitude, and it has reprints, but it also has like a little like layout of the fortress and so forth. Actually, it says all new collector's edition, but I'm pretty sure it's not all new. I'm pretty sure it's not. But this is all new. Later on, they did go to new stories. And this is one of my favorites. Superman and Wonder Woman, they battle, then they team up at the end. Really, really cool. Garcia Lopez again, JHood here. Amazing art in this. Just
It's
fantastic.
A fantastic book.
Stupendous. I've read this like I don't know how many times, and every time I love it. You know, it's like you have a common enemy. You know that there was confusion, but then you came together and you vanquished it with your wits and your might. That classic comic book stuff here.
Yeah.
And then of course, I can't do anything without, you know, Legion of Superheroes reprints, but I think it has like a couple like new illustrations just of the roll call or whatever, but you have to have it. I mean, for $1, come on. This is a no-brainer. I mean, unless you didn't have the money on you, then forget it. Then hopefully your uncle would buy it for you next week. But I think those are all my DCs. But I wanted to say that these were so big, 80 pages, 64 pages later on. And then like JHood had that Star Wars, which was 114 pages. So you got a lot of bang for your buck. Even though if it was expensive, you really got more than if you would have bought the smaller issues individually.
For sure.
So that's it for my DC. So unless you guys got another DC, let's move over to Marvel and get those going.
All I've got left are just a couple other DCs. I don't have any. I don't own any Marvels. So.
Okay.
I got some DC.
I got a couple DCs left too.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry about your luck, Roger.
Well, you know.
DC rules.
All right,
Sarah.
really quick. I'll just go super fast because this is one of my favorites. This House of Mystery
Oh yeah.
is it's great. In fact, getting this book actually spurred me to go back and get the original books. You know what I mean? So, but it's again the same thing. It's an activity book, behind the scenes, supersized pinup, how to draw a haunted house, and some remarkable stories in it. Like seriously, the best that they have to offer. I think they do the best job of giving you stellar reprints in this issue, as opposed to like, yeah, it's okay, but not the greatest stories. You know what I mean? So the cover looks cool, but for me, I'd rather spend time reading all of what's in this one. So it's a fave.
All right. Bob, what do you got?
Well, I'll show a few more. DC for sure. But one thing I was gonna say is that just in illustrating this one here, let's make me small and get to the hall, right? So whoa, look out.
Hey, nice writing.
So here's my copy of Superman versus the Amazing Spider-Man Battle of the Century. And again, nobody's showing these back covers, man. You guys got to show these off. Look at that.
Yeah, you're right.
Isn't that beautiful?
That is Ross Andrew, I think.
I love that.
Yep.
I absolutely love that. So all I was going to mention about these is to remember, especially the ones that are reprinting other, the great art of other comics that have already been published, that one of the reasons that this is not a historical point, this is my belief, that they would consider it a treasury, is that this is roughly the same size as the original art would have been for even a regular size comic book. So a regular comic book, I'll just grab one here. It doesn't matter what it is. So here's a regular comic book, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's normally a book is drawn in this size, and then they shrink it down for publishing to be this size. So when you have great art, it's not like it's blowing up a smaller image into a larger image. It's restoring the larger image and allowing it to be displayed. So that's something to consider when looking at these treasuries, is that it's the way the art was originally done, and you can really appreciate it. Especially, as been mentioned, you get some great Neil Adams interiors. It's amazing some of the detail that's in there that when it's shrunk down, you kind of just lose a little bit of that. And again, as you had mentioned, Roger, when you have an artist that's perhaps not your favorite style, it can exacerbate the situation. So, so there's that. So I just want to mention that. I don't know if that had been mentioned. Well, I know it hadn't been mentioned. I was listening, Roger. It had not been mentioned yet. Here's Superman salutes the bicentennial. Really like that one. Just a classic Superman and the Eagle. And let's see what the back looks like. It's got all the presidents up until Ford in 1974. So that's a neat little.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah.
That one was a ripoff.
What'd you rip? Who'd you steal it from?
No, that was a ripoff, because if you open it up, there's really nothing to do with Superman in it.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it's just
tomahawk and.
You have to remember, Superman salutes the bicentennial. That's it.
True. True.
I'm from New York. There's all kinds of salutes. So,
that's like when they put Superman on the cover of Shazam, #1, and he wasn't in the comic.
Very true. Very true. Let's see how quick we can look. That's how you win Comigories, people. That's how you win Comigories. I'm just saying. That's how you win. So then also, I was going to show a couple that I know no one else probably owns, but here is the Wallace Wood Treasury.
Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
And now this is more of a large magazine size. It's not as tall or as wide as a traditional treasury.
Yeah.
But being as that they labeled it as a treasury, I can't leave it off the list.
Okay. All right. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
And then it has back art by Wood as well. That's actually a cover of Spaceman, I think 68, or I think it's Spaceman 68 yearbook. But what's great about this, and not all treasuries have these types of things, but what's great about this is that inside here is a complete publishing guide to all of Wally Wood's credits.
Huh.
So it has multiple pages devoted to listing everything that he's ever done with, it's kind of a price guide-esque format. So it's very easy to find the book. It's alphabetized. And I'll tell you the year it came out, what he did on the book, and in some cases even show you a picture of the cover. So it's a fantastic resource if you're a Wally Wood fan and you want to collect more Wally Wood stuff. You can pick up the Wally Wood Treasury and you've got everything. And this was self-published by Wood and his publishing company. So all the information in there is accurate. Great stuff. Here's one more I don't think anyone's going to show today. And this is the Rocketeer Treasury Edition.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Very nice.
It says, buy war bonds, keep them flying. Treasury Edition of the Rocketeer. Now, that is not Dave Stevens' art on the cover. I forget who's done that. I apologize. But the back does have a nice Stevens print. This was put out by IDW not too long ago.
Yeah.
And this has a collection of reprinted stories throughout Rocketeer history. So not just the Stevens run, but then other stories that IDW put out as well. And there's a small version of it, the same cover. So they reused the cover art for the Treasury as it did for one of the issues. So, and there's my little salute, Sally Forth salute.
Oh,
So
buddy.
that's it. I have more, but that's all I'll go for this round.
All right. Fair enough. Thank you for that information on those non-DC Marvel ones. That's cool. All right, Lawrence.
Well, we talked about everybody, all of us have the Marvel and DC crossovers.
Not all of us.
Does any of you have this one, the very first one?
Oh,
No, I do not.
I want that.
Aw, send that to her. How can you not send it to her?
No, don't you dare. Those are hard to find.
Maybe
I
he's
know,
got
I have
6 of
two
them. We
of
don't
them.
know. He's got 2 of them.
I've
Look,
got 2 of them.
that's beautiful.
But, Sarah, you had the one, and you got to go with this one, too.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, those are the two. I think those two are probably harder to find because they had no superhero tie-in.
But you was going with, like, lesser-known stuff. I think JHood was doing that. Or stuff you didn't care about. How about this?
Oh man!
Oh my God.
Welcome back.
Oh goodness!
Oh,
Oh.
Now do
And of
not
course-
send that to me.
And then we go with another one that's you don't see too many times.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, and that's a wraparound cover, right? The back. Is the
Yeah,
upper
I
part,
think so. Yes.
Yeah.
And of course, I don't know if any of you have any of these or not.
Ooh, those are the ones I was asking about off stream. Yeah, cool. Those are very,
And-
very sought after now.
Well, then you got to go with
Super Friends.
I mean, how many of us old people, not including Bub because he's young, watch this show,
Oh,
I remember that show.
Oh,
Never
yeah.
missed it.
Wendy Marvin and Wonder Dog.
Absolutely, it was horrible.
And
Wendy
I seen
Moore.
this in Sarah's background.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Very
But
nice.
they don't have all 4 races. They only have 2.
Yeah,
Right.
they only have 2.
Ah.
And I'm going to kill off my DC. Well, no, I'm not because I got too many, but we got all the Christmas special things.
Christmas special, yeah.
Yep.
And of course, you got this, which everybody has one of them, but
Yeah, I don't have one. I'm looking for one of those.
Everybody has one, yeah.
nobody showed any of these yet.
Oh yeah, they had a couple Tarzans. Yeah, that's
We did have
right.
a few.
Nice. Joe Kubert part on there, I'm assuming, right?
Yep.
Right. And when we did the famous first edition, nobody's pulled this one out. And I know at least one other person in this stream that's got one of these.
Look, there it is. Behind my head. Some nice man sent me one.
Yeah.
Well, a man sent one to you. We don't know how nice he is, really.
Well, it wasn't Shebab mailed, so it was.
It was a sheep have me.
And your bicentennial one, Bob, I mean,
Oh, look at this guy.
There you go.
Look at this guy. Man, you're
And,
just showing off now.
yeah, I'm showing off because,
Yeah.
but I do have one here that's kind of treasury size, and I don't know if any of you's ever seen it. It's not really a treasury edition, but it's this right here.
Oh, yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I've seen it. But yeah, that's a good one. I didn't even think of that one. Yeah. That's more like a fanzine, right?
Yes, but I just thought it was cool because of the size and
It
all
is.
that. So, can I show one last thing before we move to Marvel?
Yeah.
No, JHood,
It's
what do you
not
got?
Check this out.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. That's from Western publication, right? Like
Yeah.
cool.
And it just so happens I have the comic book version of this too.
Of course you do. Of course you do. Why wouldn't
All
you?
right, I'm done. Let's move on.
And there's an Archie Treasury that I've never seen in person, but I know it exists.
I know. I seen it on Instagram a while back there.
Oh, you
Somebody,
did?
I can't remember who had it, but
I'm
somebody
hoping maybe
did.
Gretzky might have it, and show it off tomorrow. We'll see.
Well, it's funny when you're trying to hunt these things in person, especially. Like I went to a shop and they specialize in back issues, and he had racks and racks of treasuries. And I went through and I breezed through. I picked up like 5 or 6 that day. And I had plans to come back to get more. And when I went back, the prices on all of them had doubled from the weeks before.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, really? Really? Like,
Yeah, they are
you
tough
knew
to
I was
find.
coming back for more because I already had a big stack, and I was like, man, I'm gonna have to come back for more of these next week. And there I was next week, and the prices all doubled. So
Yeah, they are tough
a
to
lot
find.
of times you see these like for sale in yard sales
Yep.
and you know, places that you wouldn't normally see comics. So
Yeah,
you
I'm
know,
going to talk about that.
malls.
Yep, I'm
Yeah.
going to talk about that as well. Correct. That's a good place to find them. Yep.
Yeah.
The prices really are all over the place, depending on what the knowledge is of the dealer that's got them. If he's got them in a
Exactly.
box under the table, he doesn't know what he's got.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a Batman fan, so I've got some of the more key Batman, the famous first edition of Batman 1,
Oh, nice.
of course, the Detective 27.
Mm-hmm.
The Batman's Strange Cases.
Mm-hmm.
If
Wow.
anything, I'm looking for the more iconic cover ones, like the red cover one that was shown earlier.
Right.
And there's there's a purple cover with Batman, I think by Aparo, where there are bat signals going in the background, showing different villains and things like that. I need to get that one.
Yeah, that's very iconic. Yeah, it's like that one except it's reversed, and you have the Joker in the signal. Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
really good one. Yeah.
So, got to
Oh, cool.
that one
Very
right there.
cool.
Let's see what was on the back of this. Okay, this one was a wraparound.
Nice.
Oh yeah, nice. Very nice.
So, and then this one's been shown before, and of course everyone's got one, but I paid
Ah,
Ah,
online,
you're
and
killing me.
and it's signed up there.
Neil,
Folks.
or Denny O'Neil as well.
Nice.
Oh man.
And it's got a cool wraparound too. And if you look at the back cover without the front cover, it looks like a nice, sexy pair of legs across there.
Yeah.
So you realize those are Robins.
Oh, Bob.
That's a true story.
Yeah. Yeah. From your perspective, it is. Yeah, I'm sure.
Whatever.
But when we talk about, you know, the fact that, like Bob said, the art is, you know, close to the original size it was drawn, so you get a lot more out of it. It's not until I've kind of gotten involved in the YouTube community where I'm thinking, okay, I should probably go back and buy some of these keys, the Batman keys, Neil Adams work, and things like that. I had held off because I had things like this or other reprints where the artwork was produced in a more with more production value, glossy paper and things like that. So I was like, why do I need them? If I like the art and I like the story, it's better to get them in a larger, more consumable format like this. But now I'm feeling the FOMO, so I'm hunting now. And the one last one I want to talk about has been discussed before too.
Yeah.
Everybody that's mentioned this one that says go out and get it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's look at the murderer's row of creators in this. We've got Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams. We've got Joe Orlando and Jim Aparo story, a horror story. You've got a Carmen Infantino Flash story. You've got a Bob Haney and Alex Toth story. You've got a Joe Kubert story.
Oh.
And then, of course, you've got a Kurt Swan story in it. And so
I mean, that's just a who's who.
Yeah.
We'll talk about this one a little bit just from a personal standpoint. So this is a copy that I bought in the last 10 years probably. The original copy that I consumed as a kid wasn't mine. It was the neighbor kids. And we would sit out on our garage stoop and look at this thing and pore over it just hour after hour to the point where the cover was gone. Somehow the copy of it ended up in my house, and it was sitting on the back garage step. And my mom's like, well, you need to put this away. And I'm like, well, it's not mine, so I can't put it in my room. I need to take it back to the neighbor. And I just kept ignoring the fact that she wanted this thing put away. And she got mad at me and ripped that thing clean in half.
Oh man.
Wow.
That was the only instance where something like that happened. But I think she probably felt bad about it.
Wow.
But the thing that I mean, we've got the Neil Adams cover that's iconic. You've got the Batman story inside by Neil Adams. But this story right here the death of Superman kind of always intrigued me. It wasn't really a death, but he was dying. And so I recently tracked down the original issue of that, and that's one of them that I used on Comigories.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's a great story.
Yeah, isolation, right? Wasn't it the isolation?
Yeah, it was it was quarantine cover was
Quarantine. That's right.
Yep.
Wow, excellent. Excellent.
That's
Why does that resonate now?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, isn't it? That is so timely, isn't it?
Yeah.
Were you able to keep your friend, JHood?
You know, he went on to do things like he bought a giant size X-Men 1 for $50 that he had graded years later as a 9.2.
Oh,
things like that. And yeah, he moved away. We couldn't stay friends.
Yeah, that would have been too much competition. Well, I did find a few other DCs I forgot about.
No, you promised us Marvel, Roger. That's it. Sorry.
Who remembers this show? I mean, it was kind of hokey, but we didn't have anything, so for us it was fabulous. You know,
as a kid, that was what you got, and you liked it.
Right, that's right.
And he had great hair.
Well, that's true. That's true. And this iconic cover, it's fabulous. And I wanted to open up my one and only, well, except for the Superman one, first edition, Detective 27, because a lot of people were selling this as the original, because when you open it up, you get essentially what looks like the original cover. It's a little bigger than the original, but you got the whole comic in here, sans ads, I believe. I don't think they put the ads in here, but you even get like the original coloring scheme, like this one, which was only in red and black. Slam Bradley, from Siegel and Schuster. You got who was this guy here? Was it the Avenger or somebody? The Crimson Avenger, was that who it was? Well, anyway, you got all the original. The Spy by Siegel and Schuster. You got the Crimson Avenger. I forgot my colors. Crimson Avenger. That's who it is. So just be careful. Fu Manchu, Flatfoot Flanagan. Just be careful that if you see on eBay somebody selling a Detective 27 like this, it's probably the famous first edition, not the original.
Yeah. So
cautionary tale there. All right, Marvel. Actually, I bought Marvels before my DCs, even though the DCs came out before. And I'll get into that in a little bit. But I want to show you what I think is the single awesomest Marvel treasury that I have ever seen. And that is this puppy right here. Captain America's Bicentennial Battles. All new, guys. Every single page new, never seen before. And guess what? All Kirby. Cover to cover. Look at this back cover here.
Oh my goodness, wow. So great.
You remember the Superman with the same kind of, this was kind of Marvel's response, I guess, inside cover, Kirby.
Wow.
The story is really cool. It's a time traveling story. So he becomes different types of Captain Americas, okay? Including Captain America from the Roaring 20s. Kirby was loved the gangster eras, and so he loved to draw the gangsters and the cars and all that from the era. Loved it, loved doing that kind of stuff. And then he went to Bicentennial, I'm sorry, not Bicentennial, from Revolutionary War era. Look at this one here. Look at this full page here, Kirby. Look at this thing.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I love it.
Yeah. But the real interesting part is that it's Captain America in different eras. Here, World War I in a biplane. Okay. Here is, that was pretty cool. And then there's a Western one. Hold on. Yeah, here he is in the Old West.
Wow. Couldn't even give him proper spurs on his boots.
Yeah, exactly. Look at this shark, Kirby shark here. Look at that.
Beef. I think I know her.
At the end, you have the different Captain Americas dressed up like the different eras, right? So, and here's the good unit. This is something we could use today, a little unity. All different races, creeds, religions, beliefs, all in there, all together, right? Americans, all one together. Look at that, Captain America. Imagine if you had him back then. Huh? And look at the Old West Captain America. Okay, and then finally we get the futuristic Captain America.
I need that book.
Yeah, I need that one.
If you're a Kirby fan, man, this is just more. I mean, I have to be careful because I got this at an estate sale. It cost me like $1, and it's pristine condition. But I just love reading this thing, so I have to be very careful.
Hey, Roger.
My other ones, but I don't want to hog everything, so I'll go to somebody else while I'll get the rest of my Marvels together. Who wants to go next?
Who's up? Did we lose orders?
I can go if you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so if we're
I
talking,
just don't know how much more you want to go, So
well, I don't have much Marvel. There's some up on that top shelf, and the story about those is that my young nephew started getting into comic books, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be the greatest aunt ever. I'm going to get him some of these. And I gave him a couple for Christmas, and it was a big meh. So fine, you're not getting Thor. So I've kept those. But the one issue that I do have that I absolutely adore is this one, the Spectacular Spider-Man with the John Romita cover. I think this is just beautiful. I think, this DC fan, it's like, I'm not stupid, I mean, it's just, it's amazing. And the stories in it are great. I can see why people like that character. And I got a couple more Spider-Man treasuries up there too. But it doesn't thrill and excite me as much as this one.
That was the very first one that Marvel put out, actually.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, that's the very first one.
Yeah. So I do have some Marvel, so I'm not a complete DC specialist, but it is a favorite book. So
and for good reason, because that started it all. And I don't know what value it has monetarily, but
who cares?
Who cares? Exactly. It's one of those love, again, that's what I call it. It's a little love bundle as far as I'm concerned. You go through it like, wow,
Well, that's the thing about when I got back into collecting the treasuries, this big, huge pile represents kind of my collecting year a few years back. And boy, once you start, you just kind of can't stop because they mean so much personally, like JHood was talking about, like the memory, download just absolutely occurs the minute you hold one of those in your hand. And then for me, it was like, well, what did I miss? I saw all those ads, but I didn't have enough money to do it. And now I have more money, so I guess I'm going to pay more money.
Yeah,
but I don't care. I do not care. Because I've been building the collection I always wanted when I was 14. So now that I can pay for it, I will, and I don't care.
All right. She Babs going through, and nothing will stop her. She's a juggernaut.
It doesn't matter.
Of course.
I need some money, so here I'm going to here's my money.
She's coming. Rob, you got anything else, buddy?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me do this real quick so we can show off some more books. I'll just mow through all mine real quick so that I know Roger's getting itchy.
No, the dog is.
Here's Holiday Grab Bag. So I don't know if this one exactly has been shown, but one of my favorite things about this one is that it has all the characters in the front, and then when you turn it around, it's all their back.
Oh my God.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, it is great.
I love that. So, and I like gimmicky type stuff like that anyway, which of course treasuries kind of fall into. Here's the fabulous Fantastic Four. Here, the deluxe limited edition of the world's greatest super team. Look at that back. Isn't that fantastic?
That's beautiful.
Very nice.
I love it.
Love it. Back covers of these treasuries are just amazing, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing.
And I want to throw out a little bit of some more little factoids about treasuries. while you guys were talking some about condition, here's Superman versus the Hulk at the Winter Olympics. I think I'm going to get Shebab a T-shirt that says I'm a big DC fan, but I'm not stupid. With a big picture of Spider-Man on the front in the middle of a heart. Doesn't that sound great?
Here we go.
I'm going to work on that. Look at the mole man there. Isn't that fantastic? Crawling out.
And that's a whole new story in that one, Bub.
That's good stuff. It's a good story too. It's fun.
Yeah, it's that lady from Atlantis that wants to takes the lava men or something up. I remember it. Yeah,
good stuff. Here's another holiday. I think maybe Roger just got me on the show because he wants to see what holiday treasury books I'm going to show over in December when we do our holiday show
later this year. Yeah,
yeah. So here's another superhero. So what I do with these is at Christmas, I actually take them out of the case and I take them out of the bag and I throw them on the coffee table. And when people come over around holiday time, these treasuries I use as coffee table readers. So they're a little rough. I've had to reinforce the tape a few times each year. Put tape all over the spine and put pages back together. But I think it's neat. A lot of people that come over know that I collect comic books. So when they see these on the counter, they always, reach over and start reading through them. So it's kind of a fun thing to do. And look at that. Some more. Look at that Silver Surfer. That's fantastic.
Silver Surfer in the snow.
And one thing I was going to mention also, while you guys were talking about condition and such of treasuries and trying to keep them pristine, even when you've only spent $1, is that CGC does not grade treasuries. So if you send a treasury into CGC, they will send it back. They will not grade a treasury. So when you talk about condition of these, you have to completely remove yourself from that 9.8 white pages mentality, or any of you big collectors, big CGC collectors. This has to be removed from that conversation because it's you're buying them raw and you're going to enjoy them raw or not. And if you want to get them, this is about as close as you're going to get to slabbing one. So enjoy that. What they will slab a life-size magazine, so they have a holder for them, but they still do not have a category for slabbing these. So I find that interesting. So if you guys didn't know, there you go. Yeah, that's it. That's my treasury batch.
Cool.
There's Shebab mailing or other.
That's gonna go on the back of the shirt.
Right.
Yeah, there you go. I see a potential business arrangement.
I think there's some $1 million ideas here.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Bob, I'm glad you mentioned that about the grading aspect, because to me it's odd though, because these are, you would think collectors would really be onto these because they're not very common to find in high grade. They are tough, and because of the massive size, and the paper is actually like lower quality than comics, I do believe, at least the ones that I've seen.
Seems to be
brown very easily,
and they rip very easily. Very fragile.
Correct. So you would think that this would be, a grail kind of item if you could have it. Like, I don't, there might be 9.8s, theoretically out there, because of the rarity. I would think that would be something they go to. So I'm sure at some point CGC will do that. I guarantee.
They have the technology. They're slabbing Life magazine books, so they have the case size. I mean, they'll slab movie posters. So I mean, they have the technology. They can do it. They just don't. Yeah. So one of those interesting things.
But as it stands, it's the last bastion of us collectors, because
I truly believe it is.
We have to have it raw. Yeah.
Neil, I saw a thing on Neil Adams' Facebook channel the other day where he had a bunch of as pristine as you can get Muhammad Ali Superman books, and so he was signing them, and he'd actually sell one to you unsigned for $400, and he'd sell one to you signed for like $6 or something.
I thought you were going to say $3.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I think it is hard to find them in pristine, but as you say, it's like, says who,
Yeah.
Says me,
Lawrence. What you got?
Wake up, Lawrence,
buddy.
How about this?
Another Land of Oz.
Okay, so this is the one that just Marvel did. This is not a Marvel DC.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. This was like they did the Wizard of Oz thing, and then they did this just because evidently everybody loved the other one.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was a hot item. I seem to recall. Yeah.
And with this one, with that picture with he's on the moon,
Yeah.
they actually used that in a new series, the Captain America, a couple years ago, as a Kirby tribute cover.
Oh, cool.
Like one of them, I don't know what you want to call it, just an extra cover thing you buy. It was pretty cool, but I like this one, like
Oh,
Sarah.
yeah.
This is kind of cool, but and of course, Bub. This Fantastic Four is near and dear to my heart. But do any of you have these?
I don't have a Conan. No.
I don't have the Conans. No.
And Conan's printed in every single format available.
Yeah, and this proves it right here. This proves it right here.
Yeah.
From pocketbooks to
Yeah.
to the magazines. Yep. Oh, that's such a nice cover.
I like that.
Breaking through the wall. Yeah.
And of course, this is a really cool cover.
Oh man.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I personally think some of the Marvels was better than the DCs in the covers.
That's debatable.
I'm not going to say they aren't.
Well,
I love them all.
Yeah, I was going to say. I mean, it's like 1A and 1B as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Oh, I got that one. I'll show that one in a bit.
And I'm going to quit because I'm probably running out of. I don't want to show everything because we don't want to be here all day. So let's move on.
All right, we'll go one more round and then we'll call it a day here. I do want to before I go any further and get to JHood next. In the description below, I have the links to the channels to all these fine people up here. So cost of admission for this show is to make sure you subscribe to all these folks up here, please. Show them a little love. Go watch their videos. Support them because you can see these are awesome people with awesome collections, with a lot of knowledge, and we want to continue that, right? So the more they grow, the more we can help them to even make more videos and delve deeper into their collections. So let's remember to support these people who are putting on this show for you, okay? All right, next, JHoodCreative. What do you got?
I showed the Star Wars ones. Those are the only Marvel treasuries I have
Really?
right now. One of my 2020 gold books, though, and it was a book that hasn't been shown yet, is the 2001 Space Odyssey Treasure Edition that Jack Kirby also did the art for that.
Yes.
So I actually made a deal for that this week. It didn't arrive in time for the show, but I'll be adding that to my collection. So I'll be showing that probably on our next Saturday morning show.
Oh, I'd love for you to do a showcase on that.
It's cool. I looked at a friend's just like a couple of years ago, and it's a great adaptation. I mean, one of the things Kirby was really going for through his whole career was to be able to do comics in a bigger, better format. And when he got to do the Captain America Bicentennial special, and when he got to do the 2001, and when he did the couple magazines, was it for DC while he was still there?
Yeah.
Where he was able to break the mold of the format of regular floppy comic books and was able to get bigger and better. Maybe production-wise, they weren't as good as what he had hoped. He went on later to do the Hunger Dogs graphic novel, which was a little bit more polished. But the reason he kind of dove into this Treasury Edition game was just to do comics in something that was more of a grand format than just regular floppies.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Kirby is perfect for those different formats, magazines and Treasury. I agree. His art is one of those. Again, when you make it bigger, it just makes it even more dynamic, as far as I'm concerned. All right, I'm going to go on my last round, and then we'll see if anybody else has anything else. All right. The Marvel ones to me were, I kind of picked and choose because I think we've talked about this before. We just didn't have the money back then. I mean, you can't sacrifice your regular monthly comics necessarily for one of these unless it was something that really was just you couldn't do without, right? So, of course, as a big Shang-Chi fan, I had to have Savage Fist of Kung Fu, right?
Wow.
And this is really cool because it reprints a few of the Deadly Hands of Kung Fu comics in color, because the magazines were black and white. So this, and it also reprints his first story from Special Marvel Edition 15 in this bigger format. So I'm not going to show it because for time constraints, but Starlin in bigger format is doubly amazing. That's all I can say. So if you have a chance of seeing this one, get it. It is just spectacular. And I also have Bub the holiday special grab bag.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's all reprints. Marvel. I think it's Marvel Team Up #1 is in here. A few other ones. Really good stuff. Really good classic stuff. And then I wanted to show this one and the back cover because Bub showed the one that he had, and I'm talking about the Howard the Duck here. Now, the reason this is special, this also has an all new Defender story in it, and a Gene Colan cover. Gene Colan did a lot of the Howard the Duck stuff, but as you can see, you see how they're kind of coming towards you, a head view, and then in the back you see where they're coming from, and it's Howard the Duck for president.
Wow.
And notice the what's on the Hulk's rear there.
Get down, America.
and you see Howard the Duck.
Campaign headquarters.
You know. So, that was his slogan, "Get down, America." So tongue in cheek, but this is actually a canon new story in here. It is referenced in the regular comic books.
Awesome.
So
I need that one.
It is a hoot. Let me just tell you. And here's that other grab bag. This one has, I believe, a new story too, like a very short, kind of like a introduction story. Try to seemingly think that the other stories are new. By giving you some little. I think it's like the Champions or something. And then we were talking about the Star Wars, but they also had a Battlestar Galactica.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And this is not part of the Marvel Treasury Edition. This is a super special here, which was a different. Mostly they were magazine size, but this one was Treasury size. And there's actually two versions. There's the regular Marvel, and then there's this one, which is the special collector's edition with MP, which is Modern Promotions, which is somebody that they used sort of like Whitman to promote it outside the newsstand. And that's an adaptation of the Battlestar Galactica's TV series, by the way. And then JHood, I also was very blessed, to be A-okayed the Star Wars trilogy here, in a sense. 1, 2. Again, this is a reprint Star Wars 1 through 3, and I think this is 4 through 6.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And this is the Whitman variant. And then also was, again, the all 6 issues in this one. Also the Whitman. By the way, these lines through the middle is because I ran out of Treasury bags, so I put 2 bags together. Yeah, a little ingenuity, a little Metarug ingenuity there to make these so that they don't degrade any more than they are. And that's pretty much all I've got. That's pretty much all I got. Like I said, a lot of my treasuries, I didn't have them originally. I think Lawrence had to take off. He's having trouble with his internet. I didn't have them originally, except for I remember the Legion of Superheroes, which I've talked about. I remember the Captain America, and I think the Savage Fist of Kung Fu. I think those are 3 I got right off the rack. But everything else, like Bob, like you were saying, look at estate sales, garage sales, antique malls, your peddlers malls. I'm sure maybe those have them. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of people, they don't consider these, like as part of like the comics thing. They'll have them with their books. Magazines.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I found them. I found almost a whole run of the Marvel Treasuries in an estate sale, and it was like 1 record, 1 treasury, 1 record, 1 treasury, like that. I sold most of those off because there were the reprints at the time, and I needed the cash for, other purchases, shall we say. But these are just fabulous little microcosms of the age, of the pop culture you saw there, Get Down America, all that kind of stuff. The culture and sort of the zeitgeist of the times are in here. They're just really just, to me, as an older collector, they really take me back to a time where I could sort of put myself in a place and time where I saw them and I would enjoy them. And it brings me a little joy to think, hey, a young Metarog was there drawing in these and reading and drooling over them. And it just brings a certain nostalgia wave over me that really glads my heart. And these days, I think that's something that we could all use here and again. So.
Yeah.
Anybody else got anything else?
You said it perfectly.
I'm out.
That I think that takes us out.
All right. Anybody got anything on their channels they want to talk about before we get going? Shebab, you got videos a couple times a week at least.
Oh yeah, I'm going to drop one tomorrow on the Lois Lane maxi series. It got postponed because of COVID. So I worked with my local comic book shoppy, who sent me the last 3 issues. So now I have them all, and so I'm going to do a short little video talking about that, so you can see what those books look like and the covers. And I think next week I'm also going to do a I'm not sure yet. Tune in, probably Thursday.
Okay.
Lois Lane.
And again, the link to Shebab is down below. Please, if you didn't hear me last time, sub her up. Trust me, you're gonna watch her videos. They're short, but boy, they're impactful. That's all I can say.
You. You're very kind. You really are.
I just call them as I see them, Shebab.
Thank you.
Good stuff.
All right.
I'm a big fan of Shebab's channel. I know that there's no way it could possibly be reciprocated, but I appreciate it. I really
love you anyway. You know I do.
It's all good. I really do enjoy your content, and I really like your DC focused collection is great, and to hear all the context around it is just fantastic stuff. And I've even watched some of JHood stuff recently. I'm not as big a fan, but I still watch it to support him. No.
I'll take the view. I'll take the view.
Bub playing the victim is like so ironic, I think, but anyway, let's get to somebody who actually knows what they're talking about. What's up here, David?
Well, we'll have our regular scheduled Saturday morning show is going to be a Saturday afternoon show this coming Saturday. I've just got some projects I'm getting help with in the morning. Cool. So we'll be bumping that up to, I think, 1 p.m. on Saturday. And we're going to have special guest stars, Hero and the Kid, on to take a pop quiz where we offer them 5 questions on a subject yet to be determined, and just see how they measure up as far as their knowledge of a certain area of comics. We like to have fun. The point of the show is have fun, talk about comics, and learn a little something along the way. And I did a real quick video the other day, which I called a quick hitter, and I'm going to do another one of those soon, probably this week, where I'll be talking about my first convention experience, the Chicago Comic-Con back in 1989, dating that far back, and then
not that bad.
Also talking about Graphic Collectibles, which was one of the big art dealers back then. I'm not sure if they're still in business or not. And I've just got several of these examples of their catalogs that they would mail out. So I'll just be talking about being a comic book convention OG. So look for that probably this week sometime.
Nice. Very nice, James. Yeah, I'm going to see if I can check out that one with Hero and the Kid. Those are rising superstars here in the community for sure.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what you can do to try to stump those two.
Yeah, we're going to do. We're arranged what I've called a home and home arrangement, where they're coming on our show for this, and we're going to be on their show further down the road, and we're going to do what a lot of people have been asking me for, where I'm going to draw on camera, and hopefully you won't pick up on how much my hand shakes at that idea.
Well, all I know is the art that I have from you is, some of my favorite that I have on my wall. In fact, it's back up here. You can see over there in the corner, over there.
Yep.
That's JHoodCreative's cover of my Ghost Rider, and it is stupendous. So forget about what he says. This man is a talent, no doubt about it.
It's the performing under pressure that's going to be the.
Yeah, right. That's true. That's a good point.
It's a whole other ball game.
Speaking of talent, well, not speaking of talent, let's speak about Bub. What do you got going on your channel, buddy?
I've got now that I have all my cameras set up for the afternoon, I'm going to film a couple of hauls. I have about 3 or 4 hauls behind, so I like to get those filmed and put away. So Golden Age books for a big section of them, then a Bronze Age haul and a Modern haul. So a lot of more books coming to the collection. And of course, we've got the No Faces chat tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern. Metarog will be my co-host. See, I'm not Metarog's co-host. He's my co-host on the on that chat. And then and we're going to have Gretzky 9966 on there, and we're going to be discussing some Archie books. So it's going to be a real good time. I don't get a chance to show off my Archie collection very often. And the only time that I've ever sold any of my Archie collection, I've sold it to Mr. Gretzky. So so it's maybe I'll get to see some of my old books pop back up. So that'll be fun. And then other than that, just, the usual, popping in and out of other people's live streams, whether they want me or not. So yeah,
that's Bub. He makes the rounds. I mean, he's not Biggie Shack, but he's close.
I appreciate both those sentiments.
All right, folks. First of all, before we leave, I just want to again thank this great chat. Some of the people have been here right since the beginning. Scott 424, Jackson, Roy, Kirk, Samuel, David, Newbie Comics came in here a little while ago and joined us. Thank you for coming by. Grotu Orlov was in here. I loved that name. I've seen a few of his videos too. It's good stuff. Robert Austin, Mark Knapp, my fabulous moderator, Steve, I Love Disney and Comics, Over Easy Mode. Seen him a lot on the Gray Man streams, and everybody else. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, all right, because we got to get out of here. But we want to thank you from the bottom of my hearts. I'm going to try to have one of these streams about every month or two, and we'll just discuss some old time collecting stuff. So remember to sub up these guys, hit the notification bell on my channel if you like these kind of videos, because we love talking our comics. We're not going to be talking a lot about the new stuff. But if you want to talk about stuff in the 70s and 60s and 80s, I think you've come to the right people. All right. So thank you all. Thank you to my illustrious guest, Lawrence, King of Comicdom, who's having some internet issues. Bub's Comics, I'll see you tomorrow, buddy. JHoodCreative, I'll see you in about a week and a half on Grader's Notes. And Shebab, I'll see you on your videos all the time.
Great. Thanks, you guys. This was fun. Thanks.
It was. I salute you all. Everybody, remember, be kind to each other, be blessed, and be back. Bye.